All right, hey everyone, let's jump right in. If you're prepping for the UPSC, you know this is a hot topic. India's digital economy is practically everywhere in the news, and it's bound to pop up on your exams.
Definitely.
So we're going to do a deep dive today using a pretty solid report. The State of India's Digital Economy, the Side Report from 2024.
Right.
And this isn't just some random blog post. This is serious stuff put together by iCrier,
Yes, the Indian Council for Research on International Economic Relations.
working with MeitY, the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology.
Exactly. They teamed up for this report, so you know it's going to be packed with insights.
For sure. So UPSC folks, listen up. This is gold for your prep. All right, one of the first things that jumped out at me, India's the third largest digitalized economy in the world.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing when you think about it, right behind the US and China.
Third. That's huge. But hold on, before we go any further, let's break this down. What exactly are we talking about when we say digitalized economy?
Good question. It's not as straightforward as it might seem.
Is it just how much time we're spending online?
Well, there's that, but it's more than that.
Okay, so what's the real definition here?
See, India is doing incredibly well when it comes to the overall digitalization of the economy itself. Think digital payments.
Right, UPI, all that.
Exactly. E-commerce, government services going digital, all that's booming. But there's a catch.
Oh, there's always a catch, isn't there?
When you look at individual user digitization, how digitally savvy each person is, we're actually a bit behind, 12th among the G20 nations.
So our systems are digital, but the people using them aren't necessarily on the same level.
That's the distinction. And for anyone studying for the UPSC, this gap is crucial.
Why is that so important?
It shows a massive potential for growth.
I see. If we can get everyone up to speed, the impact would be huge,
Exactly. Think digital literacy in rural areas.
giving everyone access to tech and the social development that comes with it.
Precisely. So much potential there.
All right, so big picture time. How much is this digital economy actually contributing to India's GDP?
It's a significant chunk. As of 2024, it was 11.74%.
11.74, not bad.
And it's projected to hit 13.42% by next year.
So it's growing fast.
But here's the kicker. It employs only 2.55% of the workforce.
Yeah, hold on. So a small percentage of the workforce is generating over 11% of the GDP.
Yep. And get this, its productivity is 5 times higher than the overall economy.
5 times. What's driving that massive difference?
Well, technology plays a role, but it's more about the types of jobs in the digital economy.
So it's not just the computers are faster. It's about the skills involved.
Exactly. You've got highly skilled professionals in IT.
Data analytics, software development.
Right, all those high-skill, high-productivity fields, which is great, but it also raises questions about inclusivity.
Right. How do we make sure everyone benefits? Not just the tech-savvy folks.
Exactly. How do we ensure the benefits are shared across the entire workforce?
That's a big one for UPSC aspirants to think about. How do policies address that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so if this digital economy is already making such a big impact with a relatively small workforce, what happens when it grows even more?
Well, get ready because the projections are mind-blowing. By 2029-30, it could be 20% of India's GDP.
20%? Seriously?
Larger than both agriculture and manufacturing combined.
Wow, that's a total game changer for India's economic landscape.
No doubt about it.
Okay, before we get too carried away, I'm curious. How do we even measure something as complex as digitalization? Is it just about internet access, or is there a more, sophisticated way to look at it?
You've hit a key point. Just counting internet users doesn't give you the full picture.
So what's the better way?
There's a framework called GOP.
GOPS. Tell me more.
It stands for Connect, Harness, Innovate, Protect, and Sustain. 5 pillars plus 50 associated indicators give you a much broader view of digitalization.
So it's not just about getting people online, it's about how they're using technology.
Exactly. What kind of infrastructure is in place?
What safeguards are there to protect people?
Right. It's about the whole ecosystem. And for analyzing government policies, CBDC is invaluable.
I see. So if you're looking at Digital India, for example, you can use CHES to see how that policy affects each of these pillars.
Exactly. It's the kind of in-depth analysis that'll help you ace your UPSC exams.
Okay. Our listeners definitely need to research this CHES framework. Yeah. So what's driving this digital boom in India? What's making it all happen?
Several key factors are at play. One of the biggest is expanding digital infrastructure.
So things like FartNet, bringing high-speed internet to rural areas.
Right. And the rollout of 5G. These are crucial for bridging the urban-rural digital divide.
It's like laying the groundwork for a more digitally connected India.
Exactly. And it's all part of the Digital India vision, which is essential for anyone prepping for UPSC.
Okay, infrastructure's in place. What else?
Can't forget the impact of rising smartphone penetration. Affordable smartphones and data plans are making India a mobile-first economy.
It's true. Everyone's on their phones these days.
And that has a huge impact on economic growth.
How so?
It fuels the growth of digital payments.
Right, like UPI.
E-commerce, online entertainment.
So it's not just about the phones themselves, it's about the entire ecosystem that grows around them.
Precisely. And UPSC aspirants should be able to talk about these trends in detail.
Makes sense. What other pieces of the puzzle are there?
Global Capability Centers, or GCCs, are a major factor. India hosts a whopping 55% of the world's GCCs.
55%. That's more than half.
They provide IT support, R&D, business process management, all kinds of critical services.
What does that tell us about India's place in the global digital landscape?
It's not just about economic contribution.
It's about our expertise.
Exactly. The potential for job creation, technology transfer. Highly relevant for both prelims and mains preparation.
Okay, let's shift gears and talk about startups. India's got a really vibrant startup scene. What's happening there?
It's booming. Even with all the global economic challenges in 2024, Indian startups raised a massive $30.4 billion in funding.
Wow, it's a lot of confidence from investors.
Yeah.
What's attracting them to India?
Government initiatives like Startup India are helping. Plus, there's access to funding and a growing pool of talented entrepreneurs.
So it's a good time to be a startup in India.
Definitely. And UPSC aspirants should be ready to discuss the dynamics of this ecosystem, its challenges, its potential impact.
All right, one more thing I wanted to touch on. Digital financial inclusion. I keep hearing about how programs like UPI and Yantan accounts are changing how people access financial services, especially in rural areas.
It's a revolution. Just look at the numbers. In October 2024 alone, UPI processed 23.49 lakh crores rupees across 16.58 billion transactions.
Those are some serious numbers. What's the impact of that kind of volume?
It's transforming financial inclusion, huge implications for poverty alleviation, overall economic growth.
Definitely a topic UPSC aspirants need to be ready to discuss in depth.
Absolutely.
All right, so we've covered a lot in this first part of our deep dive. Impressive growth, key drivers, that CHIPS framework.
Don't forget, all this comes from the State of India's Digital Economy Report 2024, which you can find on the PIB website, the Press Information Bureau.
Check it out, folks. Great resource, especially if you're prepping for the UPSC.
Definitely. It's exciting, no doubt, but we can't just focus on the good stuff.
Right, there are always challenges. What are some of the potential downsides, things that policymakers, or really all of us, should be worried about?
Well, one that always comes up, especially in UPSC discussions, is the digital divide.
The digital divide, yeah, we hear that a lot.
Despite all the progress in infrastructure, there's still a gap.
Between those who have access and those who don't.
Exactly.
So just rolling out 5G and fiber optic cables isn't enough. We need to make sure everyone can benefit.
Absolutely.
What's causing this divide? Is it just about infrastructure, or are there other factors?
Infrastructure is a big one, especially in rural areas. Connectivity can be limited, but it's not just that.
What else is there?
Affordability, digital literacy, and even, whether these digital services are relevant to people's lives.
So if the content and services aren't designed for different communities, just having access won't solve the problem.
Exactly.
It's about making the digital world inclusive.
Right. Accessible to everyone.
Not just a select few. What strategies do you think would really work to bridge this divide, especially in India, where we have such a diverse population?
It needs a multi-pronged approach, for sure. Investing in digital literacy programs is crucial.
So teaching people the skills to navigate the digital world.
Empowering them with the knowledge, then creating affordable access options.
Subsidized internet plans, things like that.
Community-based tech centers.
So people have a place to go, even if they can't afford their own devices.
Exactly. And lastly, content and services need to be relevant in local languages.
Addressing specific challenges that different groups face.
Right.
Creating a digital ecosystem that's truly inclusive, it's a tough challenge.
It is. But essential if we want to fully realize the potential of this digital boom.
Okay, what other challenges should we be paying attention to?
Data, privacy, and security. It's a big one.
Yeah, it's making headlines all the time.
As more of our lives go online, protecting personal data becomes crucial.
It is a bit scary to think about how much information is out there.
Everything from financial transactions to personal conversations.
Exactly. What can we do to make sure our data is safe in this digital world?
Robust data protection laws are key.
We need strong laws.
Strong cybersecurity measures and responsible data governance practices.
So it's not just about passing laws, it's about making sure they're enforced.
Exactly. And India's data protection framework is still evolving.
It's a work in progress.
UPSC aspirants should really keep an eye on this.
Yeah, understanding the laws, the challenges, the impact on individual rights, it's all important.
It's not just the technology itself.
Right, it's the rules around it.
The legal and ethical frameworks.
It sounds like a lot of work to do to protect our digital rights.
Hmm.
What else haven't we talked about?
The impact of automation on jobs? That's generating a lot of discussion and some anxiety.
It's understandable. People are worried about losing their jobs to robots.
AI, advanced technologies, as they become more common, there's concern about job displacement.
Are we all doomed? Or is there a more, optimistic way to look at it?
While job displacement is possible, tech advancements also create new opportunities.
So it's not all bad news.
The key is adaptation, preparing the workforce for the jobs of the future.
What does that look like?
Investing in education and training programs, equipping people with the skills they need to succeed in this digital economy.
Right, so we're not just creating jobs. We're making sure people have the skills to fill those jobs.
Exactly. And UPSC aspirants should be thinking about how government policies can help with this transition.
How do we make sure everyone benefits from automation?
Precisely.
Okay, so education is important. What else can we do?
Reform education itself. We need to move beyond rote learning.
Focus on critical thinking, problem solving,
Adaptability. Those are the skills that will be in demand.
no matter what specific job you have.
Exactly. It's about preparing students for jobs that don't even exist yet.
Fostering a mindset of lifelong learning. That makes a lot of sense. What else?
Skilling and reskilling programs give people opportunities to acquire new skills,
Upgrade their existing skills to match the digital economy.
especially for those who might be displaced by automation, whose jobs are becoming obsolete.
Providing a safety net for those most vulnerable to these changes.
Right. We need to make sure everyone has the chance to participate in this digital transformation.
And benefit from it. What about private companies? What role do they play in all this?
They're crucial, not just for job creation.
But also for training and development.
Exactly. They can partner with educational institutions,
Government agencies, nonprofits.
create a stronger skilling ecosystem,
So it's a team effort, government, industry, civil society.
all working together for a digitally inclusive India.
Okay, so we've talked about the digital divide, data privacy, automation. These are big challenges. But I also see a lot of opportunity here.
Oh, absolutely. Each challenge is also a chance for innovation and positive change.
So it's not all doom and gloom.
Not at all. Addressing the digital divide, think of the untapped market that unlocks, the people it empowers.
Creating strong data protection. We could become a global leader in responsible data governance.
And facing automation head-on, we could build a workforce that's more skilled and adaptable than ever before.
So it's not about avoiding these challenges.
It's about embracing them.
Seeing them as opportunities to build a better India, more inclusive, more digitally empowered.
Precisely. And UPSC aspirants, they're in a great position to help shape this future.
They understand these complex issues. They're committed to public service.
They can be the leaders who drive this positive change.
Okay, so we've explored the growth, the challenges. Now let's look ahead. What does the future hold for India's digital economy?
The possibilities are really exciting.
They are. But we talked about the challenges. So what are some potential solutions? How do we make this future a reality?
It's going to take some strategic thinking, proactive measures.
For sure. And for our UPSC folks listening, this is where the real analysis comes in.
Absolutely.
So let's put on our futurist hats for a minute.
Yeah.
Where are the biggest opportunities for growth? Where's the innovation going to happen in the next 5-10 years?
Well, one sector that's ripe for disruption is agriculture.
Agriculture? Really? That doesn't seem very digital.
Think about it. What if we used AI, data analytics, to optimize crop yields,
Make farming more efficient.
predict weather patterns, connect farmers directly with consumers?
Cut out the middleman.
It could transform the entire agricultural value chain.
So we're taking something very traditional and making it high-tech.
Mm.
What other sectors are ready for this kind of digital makeover?
Healthcare is another one.
Healthcare, yeah, that makes sense.
We're already seeing telemedicine, wearable health trackers. But imagine AI-powered diagnostics.
personalized healthcare recommendations.
Blockchain technology securely managing patient records.
So we're not just talking about doing things better. We're talking about doing entirely new things.
Exactly, pushing the boundaries. Using technology to solve some of our toughest challenges.
So what needs to happen to make this kind of innovation a reality? Are there any specific policy areas we should be focusing on?
Regulatory reform is a big one. We need regulations that encourage innovation, risk-taking.
But at the same time, we need to protect consumers, make sure things are ethical.
Finding that balance is crucial. It's how we foster a digital ecosystem that's dynamic and responsible.
So it's not just about letting everyone do whatever they want. It's about creating the right environment for responsible innovation.
Exactly.
What about infrastructure? We talked about the digital divide. What needs to change there?
We need to keep investing in robust digital infrastructure, especially in rural areas, underserved communities, broadband access, 5G, making sure our systems can handle all this data.
Building a strong foundation for the future.
Right, making sure everyone has the tools to participate in this digital transformation.
And speaking of participation, what about the skills gap? How do we prepare the workforce for these new digital jobs?
Education and skills development are key.
So what does that look like? How do we actually do it?
We need to move beyond the old ways of teaching. Focus on critical thinking.
Problem solving.
Adaptability. Those are the skills that will be in demand.
No matter what specific job you're doing.
Exactly. We need to prepare students for jobs that don't even exist yet.
That's a tough one. How do you prepare for something you don't even know about?
It's about fostering a culture of lifelong learning.
Always be learning, always be adapting.
Exactly. And one way to make this happen is through public-private partnerships.
So companies and educational institutions working together.
Companies can offer mentorship, internships,
Give students real-world experience.
make sure what they're learning is relevant to the job market.
It's about bridging that gap between the classroom and the real world, making education more practical.
And it benefits everyone.
So we've talked about a lot of complex issues, the challenges, the potential solutions. But I think the takeaway is that India's digital economy has a bright future.
It definitely does.
It's a future full of challenges, no doubt. But it's also full of hope and possibility.
And UPSC aspirants, they have a real opportunity to shape this future.
To be the leaders who make it happen. And remember, this entire deep dive has been based on the State of India's Digital Economy Report 2024.
You can find it on the PIB website, the Press Information Bureau.
A great resource, especially if you're prepping for the UPSC. We hope you found this deep dive informative. We've covered a lot of ground, but most importantly, we've explored the incredible potential of India's digital economy and the role we can all play in shaping its future. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below with your thoughts and questions. Until next time, keep diving deep and stay curious.